Assemble your Cali-class fleet as we talk this week's
Initial codes. Part 1. Initial codes. Part 1. Initial codes.
Hey there again, Trek nerds. We're wrapping up Lower Decks' third season with The Stars at Night. I've got a fleet full of spoilers if you'd like to conduct maneuvers elsewhere. This has definitely been the best season of Lower Decks yet, and it's wrapped up with easily the best finale of the show yet. I'll start with a like for the well-animated version of the often-seen Starfleet Command, as Carol gets chewed out for the failures of Project Swingby. Though in a bid to soften the blow of decommissioning the entire Cali class, she fails upwards with an offer of promotion to the rarely seen fleet captain. In fact, I'm not sure we've actually seen one since post-radiation Pike. The uniform sure is, impressive, I guess. In what feels like an update to TOS's ultimate computer, Freeman challenges Buenamigo's automated ships to a second contact challenge. Before all our main characters can come full circle on their season character development arcs, I've got a like for Boimler's impersonations of the crew, particularly T'Ana with a classic "I'm not a doctor" lines. Though when Shax unexpectedly hears Boimler being him, the big teddy bear breaks down and leaves. We'll come back to Shax in a bit, and I've got a like for the getting the ship ready montage. T'Ana walking around with a riding crop and Ransom doing the ultimate Riker maneuver are pure comedic gold. And Miglimoo going back to food metaphors is one of many great ways this episode calls back to Lower Decks' past, while Billups calls back to isolinear Chip Frenzy from The Naked Now. Meanwhile, Mariner is bringing out her inner Indiana Jones, foiling Ferengi from taking an apparent Klingon artifact, and going to get some of those slushy drinks she mentioned from the Quelar system. While there, she learns who truly funds these archaeological expeditions. Picard's soft spot for the subject and love for Member Vash caused him to give his space bucks to the cause, which gets a like from me. Also, did Mariner drop a Legends of the Hidden Temple reference? Anyway, as Buenamigo activates the Alito for the competition, the interface is the same used by Gary 7 in Assignment Earth. The first stop in this competition is the first stop we saw the Cerritos make at Galador, and then to two never-before-seen planets, including one that bears a striking similarity to the one from Meridian, only spending a few hours each year in phase with the rest of the universe. Before the crew misses that rendezvous, Tendi's senior science officer training pays off, even if it costs the crew time in this race, when she thinks she's found life that they have to stop and confirm, and that's another like for character building in a satirical show that's better than any current modern Trek series has done. I actually care about Tendi, all the main character arc payoffs in this episode, and all the auxiliary crew members that I actually know the names of that have had background development. Which leads to another like for Rutherford figuring out what this code he's been fixated on the entire episode is all about. It's his past life's AI code and brother to Badgie, as Buenamigo is revealed to be the sinister evil villain admiral type. He capitalized on the Breen incursion and was the one behind Rutherford's memory wipe and implant. As if we don't have enough to take in, when he orders the Alito to destroy Cerritos, it succeeds where Badgie failed in killing its creator and turning its sentience on Douglas Station, along with its sister ships Dallas and Corpus Christi. If anyone thought I was being too hard giving a dislike last week for the saved in the nick of time trope, I've got a like for the Van Sitters, which is likely a nod to NBC VP of Star Trek brand management, but rather than coming to the rescue, it ends up pulverized and just clinging to life as Carol pulls a Corbomite maneuver and bluffs that Rutherford has a way to take out this rogue AI. Freeman goes around the bridge for ideas, and we get a few callbacks, like Barnes suggesting a deflector weapon similar to Best of Both Worlds, and the captain herself hoping to pull a Kirk talking a computer to death moment. But by the prophets, I've got another like for Brad paying off his bold Boimler growth this season, speaking up after the captain's made her decision, and simultaneously vindicates his earlier shenanigans to Shax, giving him the opportunity to finally detonate the warp core in anger, though that leads to a very nuanced dislike. Well, the ejection system works, which hasn't always been the case in Trek, but it requires 2 keys, which gives the illusion of some measure of checks and balances, but Billups has both the keys, which just seems like a layer of inefficiency if you need to dump the core in a hurry if one person holds both keys anyway. Never mind. Dumping the cores at warp leaves the Cerritos in bad shape yet again, but manages to take out 2 of the 3 Texas-class vessels. Because we haven't had the stakes raised enough times and enough saving graces, just as the Alito zeroes in for the kill shot, Mariner shows up with a few friends. Namely, every Cali-class ship with a stake in future of their class that's been seen before, and basically every part of California someone might recognize. Where the copy and paste fleet in Picard was a huge disappointment, this Cali-class reunion is a really wonderful like moment we've built up with the lower deckers on one of Starfleet's lowest classes of support vessels, and bringing Mariner's growth arc to its natural evolution in the season. Though I do have a dislike for Federation ineptitude, as Mariner is the one to rally the troops, which Starfleet should have done themselves. It's also a dislike for making the galaxy feel small again, as it's unlikely so many Cali-class ships operate in a small section of the galaxy to all arrive at once. Though, very fun to finally see Captain Vendham's all-Bolian crew talked about back in episode 2, and the crew of lookalikes from the Alhambra again. Combined, they prove the power of the Cali class, putting an end to the Texas War of Independence. I've got one final like for cramming as many possible Lower Decks callbacks cast into one single frame. Douglas Station itself undergoes repairs as the Cerritos undergoes its 3rd major refit, and the fleet members party it up, with the biggest teddy bear ever finding a newfound respect for Boimler and inducting him into the Bear Pack. I was all ready to give a dislike for the season in general for not coming back to the Vulcan T'Lyn, and here she is to prove me wrong at the last moment. No points awarded for not coming back sooner, but none taken away either. Anyone else notice what looks like an energy-based life form like Onaya the Muse floating in the background in the final closing shot? I think it's supposed to be a faraway ship, but it seems suspicious. While I gave Crisis Point 2 a more perfect score, I think this might be my favorite episode of the season and possibly so far across Lower Decks. It's so hard to decide between this Paradoxus and Here All Trust Nothing. I'm sad to be at the end of one of the best seasons of Star Trek that we've ever had, but the show has been renewed for a 4th season, and in the immediate, we've got Star Trek Prodigy, which I'll have a review out for soon, and Picard in February. Till season 4, Lower Deckers, live long and prosper!